Hello everyone, this is Sandra from Cherry Heart, back with another podcast for you. We're on episode 21 now. So how are you? How have you been? I hope you've been alright and having some lovely crafty times. I am going to talk to you about crochet and knitting and other sort of crafty bits and bobs. And you can find me on the internet as Cherry Heart in most places. On Instagram I'm Sandra Cherry HRT, but on Ravelry I'm Cherry Heart, and my blog is cherryheart.co.uk, and that is where you will find the show notes for today's lovely little episode. So a couple of things before we get to the crafting bits that I've been up to. First of all, I've got the Swapless Swap running in my Ravelry group. So that's Sandra's... No, it's not. That's Cherry Heart's Cozy Corner on Ravelry. And it's the Happy Hour Land Swapless Swap. So that's for all those lovely sort of cozy memories and happy scrappy projects where you need mini skeins. So you can sign up and you pay the fee, and you get some lovely minis from Javier Land, the shop on Etsy, and it's a good starting place if you want to start one of those lovely projects, or it can top you up, you know, if you're running out of yarn to swap, that'll get you topped up. So that's still open. I think we've got till January for that. I think it's 15th. It's definitely January, but I think it's 15th. So yeah, so if you wanted to sign up for that, there is still a chance. There are still a few spots open. So yeah, pop over and give yourself a nice something to look forward to for the new year. To have some lovely surprising minis pop through your door, which will be fun. And the other thing I wanted to just say while I remember is what I'm wearing, just in case anyone should want to know. It's a shawl that I made. It was supposed to be a pattern, but it isn't a pattern yet, and I'm not sure if it should be a pattern really. I'm struggling with this one. It has the working title of Peachy Geometric, for it is peachy and slightly asymmetrical and geometric in its shape. And that's as far as my imagination got. So yeah, so I'm not sure if that will ever surface, but it is warm, and I made it with gorgeous wool barn yarns, so I'm wearing it. I kind of love it, but I'm not sure if it's good enough for a pattern. Anyway, so shall we begin? Let us begin at the beginning with... should we do... Well, let's do works in progress first, because I've only got one of them really. Well-ish. So this one, which I talked about last week, is my Abfoil cardigan from this book, 3 from the Top, from the Crochet Project, and it's this cardigan that I'm making by the lovely Joanne's Grace, and I'm making it in Molly from Homespun House is Gorgeous Yarn, Goblin Dance, on her Gold Stellina fingering. Gorgeousness. And I'm also using a yarn from Regina, from Herbsplat Regina, and that's, I think this one is, I'm not sure if it's one of her standard colourways. It was called, it's either Petal Pink or Pink Petal. Petal Pink. Yeah, so that one as well. So let me show you what I have so far. Let's pop the basket back out the way. Ooh. Close up, not good. So here's my progress so far. Oh, actually looks vaguely cardiganish, doesn't it? Just to show how it's coming up. Look, I love it. I love the colour. It's interesting to see it far away, because you don't often sort of back up from your work when you're actually making it, do you? But yeah, so the Regina's yarn is just for these pale pink little contrast colours, and then Molly's is the main colour. Yeah. I love it. Now I did a little gauge swatch from this. The pattern says do the pocket and that'll be like a gauge, which I did. Here's my little pocket. That was my little gauge swatch. Love it. Perfect. Gauge, spot on. Perfect. First time, excellent. So I started making the cardigan. Gauge, not remotely spot on. Gauge, a million miles off. Gauge, really loose and baggy. What the heck is going on with that? So this is coming up a little bigger. Now, luckily, I was close, I was sort of between sizes, and I thought instead of going for the bigger one, I'll go for the smaller one because, you know, there's blocking and things, and I think I did sort of suspect I might loosen up a bit. So I thought I'll go for that, it'll be safer. Just as well I didn't go for the bigger one, otherwise it'd be huge. So it kind of fits, it fits so far, but it could have been smaller. But instead of being, I'm not sure what it is now, like 24 stitches or something, I'm like 20 stitches. Useless. I don't know. It seems to be particularly, let me show you, the bottom of this yoke here. This bit's not too bad, closer to gauge here, went off horribly here, and now this bit, not quite on gauge but a lot closer. So this bit is looking pretty good. I'm just slightly concerned that when I do my sleeves, when I put this on, they sort of flap out a little. Now I'm hoping when I get the sleeves on and it, you know, it'll all be good. But at the minute they're sort of lifting up a bit like this. Because obviously it's bigger than it's supposed to be because I didn't keep my gauge. So yeah, I'm slightly apprehensive about how that's going to go. I suppose I could have undone the whole thing and started again. I don't want to do that. I'm finding it, although it's, how do I put this? It's not that I'm not enjoying it. It's just because of the stitches and the sort of way they're worked, it's just not flowing on my hook quite as nicely as some things do. So the idea of sort of ripping back pretty much all that I've done and starting again is not appealing to me in the slightest. And although it's sort of slightly looser fitting, it's not like it's horrendous. So even if it's a bit bigger than some cardigans, you know, it can be one that I wear over things. So it's not like it's a total disaster, I hope. But I'm not frogging it. I'm not. I don't want to. I don't want to. So yeah, I'm hoping it'll come out okay. But yeah, I want to sort of, well, I was going to say I want to push on and finish it, but actually I'm kind of happy taking my time with it. Yeah, that's all right. I don't normally do that. Normally I get a bit, oh, I'm getting there, oh, I must go faster, oh, the end's in sight, I'm going to go faster still, and I get a bit frantic and about it, which is bit daft really, because we're supposed to do this sort of thing for relaxation, aren't we? But every so often, every once in a while, a project comes along that I can sort of think, no, it's okay, don't need to rush, it's okay, be cool. And I think I can do that with this project. I think it can hang around for a bit, you know, I can do some over Christmas and it's good. Take it slow, enjoy it, that's my plan. Yeah, so anyway, that's that one. That's my work in progress. And then I finished these. Now you saw these. You saw a bit of these last time. I'd started, I'd knitted up a little cuff. They're mitts, by the way. I'd knitted up a little cuff in moss stitch, and then I'd gone into garter stitch, but I didn't like how they worked together. They didn't look right to me, and I wanted the little sort of the little flashes to colour to come out in the little yarn bumps, which kind of worked in moss stitch, but I couldn't face. See, the trouble with moss stitch, I love how it looks, but essentially it's just 1 by 1 ribbing, isn't it? And we all know, well, I don't know, how do you feel? Maybe people there are out there that like ribbing, but ribbing's the bit you've got to get out of the way so you can get to the actual knitting you enjoy. Am I alone in that? That's what I feel about it anyway. It's not so bad now, I got used to it over the years, but still, a whole thing that's just essentially knit one, purl one is a bit not as appealing as a garter stitch knit, put it that way. And because I wanted it to be super easy, I didn't even knit these in the round, because that would have necessitated a knit round and a purl round to get the garter. So I actually knit these flat. Haven't done that in ages. Yeah, so I knit these flat so I could just do knit, knit, knit. So there they are. They're just very plain garter tubes. And now this is the bit that I started with. I don't know if you can tell, but about there, there's sort of a different colour pooling there to how it goes above. Like here it's quite spread out and evenly. It almost looks like you can see it on the other one as well. Sort of you can see there's some stripes and the colours doing things, but it's quite well distributed. Just here, for some reason, it's slightly different, and that's the bit where I did my, I started and I unravelled it and I started again and unravelled it and I started again. So I was wondering if it's just, maybe that's just how the yarn went, there's just a different patch at the beginning, or maybe it's where I kept knitting and unravelling to like stretch it out or distort it, do you think? And that's what is making the colour pool differently. Strange, isn't it? I did have a bit of yarn left as well, so I could have sort of missed out that beginning bit if I'd known it was going to do it. Don't know. Don't know if that's possible. Don't know if anyone else has experienced that. Just putting them on. Quite nice to wear them actually. I was going to show you my seam as well. I did a mattress stitch seam. The downside of knitting on flat needles, seaming. So I got that one better than that one. That one looks more obvious. Whereas this one, I'd got it a bit better by then. I can do mattress stitch beautifully on stocking stitch, but I don't really do it on garter stitch, and as you can tell. So there you go. Oh, the yarn is Kate Celine, and it's Grey Pop Fizzle, and it is the softest, most gorgeous stuff. I think it's 100% merino. I didn't bring the tag up or anything. Show notes. Show notes are my saviour. I don't know if anyone looks at the show notes, but I can't remember anything, and everything of importance is on show notes. So, yeah, I love it. They are so warm. This is double knit, and it's making me want to get some more double knit yarn from Indie Dyers, because this is just gorgeous. I've got another double knit of hers, of Kate's, in a different colourway, and I kind of want to make some double knit socks because these are so toasty. I kind of want to make some garter stitch socks because I think it's the sort of the thickness of the bumps. It's just making it so squishy and soft and warm that I want that in socks. You could knit garter knit socks, couldn't you? I think you could. I want to anyway, and I kind of want to knit a double knit pair as well because I love them. They'd just be the best for sort of snuggling around, snuggling up on the sofa socks and keeping cosy and warm, and yeah, I think it'd be good. Yeah, so I really like these. They're my favourite thing to wear at the minute because it's starting to get colder now. Winter is definitely closer, and yeah, something like this is very good. I kind of want gloves in it, or mittens as well, so I can wear them and be toasty as toasty. Ah, I love them. I'm keeping them on. They're very warm. I did actually make them slightly too tight actually. Kind of doesn't look like it, but they have got a, you know those tight bandages they make you wear when you've sprained your wrist or something, like a compression bandage. Just a teeny touch of that kind of effect going on. Could have done with a couple more stitches in there for comfort, I think. But you know, as per, I was just kind of winging it. And I was faffing around with stitch counts to try and get the pooling to come out nicely, which it did in the end. It came out beautifully. Absolutely beautifully. But you know, perhaps a little, just 2 or maybe 4 stitches for a little more breathability wouldn't have been a bad idea. Oh well, never mind. They're still fabulous. Right, I'm just looking down to see what's next up on the list. Christmas bag I put. Oh yeah. Oh yeah, a Christmas bag. I made myself another little Christmas bag. I started this ages ago actually. I made a simple one which I showed last week? Week before? No, I don't do them weekly. Last episode or the episode before. So I made myself another one. Just my usual little simple drawstring affair. But yeah, I really like this fabric. Love it. I made one that had Liberty stripes on the bottom, and I did some little embroidery bits, and I kind of really liked how that turned out, so I wanted a Christmas version. So I've added some cute little holly and a heart, and I've put some little sequins on for a bit of bling and a little stitchery, and then on the other side I've got Mr. Claus. Oh, I love these little dangly bits, they're cute. Not so sure about him. He's alright, but I don't know. This side looks like it's lacking something to me, I'm not quite sure what. Also, these could have been darker, couldn't they? It's pink. Little stitchery. I did the same on that one. Look, it's pink, but it's not very clear as it gets a bit lost. Oh. Yeah, so this is for some of my Christmas projects. So I'm going to be doing socks. This is what I need to get to show you actually. I'm going to be doing a pair of Advent socks, or Advent sock knit along with me and Betsy Makes, Sam of Betsy Makes. We did one last year and we're doing it again this year because it was fun. But what we do is, what it means is, so it's an Advent sock knit along, which means you start your socks on the 1st of December and you can knit on them every day to the 24th of December. So, you know, like opening an advent calendar, but instead you do a little bit of knitting on your socks. And then that means on Christmas Day, they're finished and you can wear them on Christmas Day. So it's sort of like another little present to yourself. So yeah, that makes us happy. So I'm going to put that project in here. And the yarn I'm using, that's what I want to get. I left it down in the main house. It's Herbsplatt Regina's minis, her Herbsplatt Loves Fall collection, I think. It's a collection of her 10 autumn colourways or fall colourways. And yeah, I'm going to do them as like a stripy sock. Yeah, I think I might knit them at the same time, like not 2 at a time on one needle, because I'm not a huge fan of that, but I've got 2 needles in the same size, so I might sort of knit the cuff of one and knit the cuff of the other and do it that way, because I'm not quite sure how it will work, like if one mini will do 2 cuffs. So I'm gonna knit through half of it and then like off of either end. Does that make any sense? I'm going to start one end, cast on one needles and knit some, and then I'm going to cast on the other end on some other needles and knit some, so then I can like knit down to the last and make sure I'm using evenly and as much as I can if I need to, if it's tight. Do you know what I mean? Yeah, so that's what I might do anyway. So that's my Advent cow socks that are going to go in my little Christmassy bag. And talking of the Christmas theme, I've got some other little quickies to show you, which are these mitts. Now these are my favourite, well, one of my favourite mitts patterns, and it's on Ravelry, and it's not got a very catchy name. It's what it used to be called. It's a drops pattern, and it's some number, and it's just crochet shell wrist warmers. So I will link it so you can find it. But I believe when I went through to just remind myself of the pattern, I believe Drops have changed its name. So I think it's called Winter Fanfare crochet shell wrist warmer patterns now, which might be a bit easier to search for. Yeah, so that's one of my favourite patterns, and I've got some lovely little friends that I would like to send a little something to this year. So I'm not much of a Christmas present maker really, and I don't knit for or crochet for other people much really. I'm very selfish when it comes to my crafting. I will occasionally, but so yeah, so I've made a few pairs of these, and I just added a little heart and a tie just for, you know, just for laughs. And this is made out of Amy Butler for Rowan, basically. It's Rowan yarn, but it's got Amy Butler on the label as well, and it's cotton. Kind of wishing I brought the label down, that would have been helpful, wouldn't it? Yeah, it's a cotton yarn. I think it was called organic cotton, but it's kind of irrelevant because it's discontinued now. So, but I got it from John Lewis a while ago, and I got 2 balls in these lovely colours. I don't know what my original plan was for them, or if anything, but they've been sitting, and it's lovely stuff, absolutely lovely to use. I made a pair of these very mitts actually for myself in an off-white colour, and I put them in the washing machine by mistake and they went tiny. Oh, sad, sad day that was. Yeah. And I made myself another pair, but the yarn I made the second pair out of wasn't as nice and as lovely as this stuff. It's just I particularly wanted a cream pair, so I didn't use this again. But I have got some left over. But yeah, so I thought this would be a really good thing to use it for, because I've been wanting, you know how it is, you want the right project, don't you? And I've had them sat there and just not quite the right thing has called for me. But when I thought of making some of those, lo and behold, there it was waiting. See, if you keep everything long enough, the right project comes along. Trouble is, it does mean stash builds up, which is something else I want to talk about at some point. We'll see if we get to it today. We'll see how long I get, because this might be a bit long. So, what next? Socks. Lots of socks. So I was saying last time I was showing you my blueberry waffle socks that I made, which I made as part of the Box of Socks knit along that Kristen from Vine is hosting, which you've probably heard about. But anyway, I had a request, or people were saying, would I show my Box of Socks? And I will. Yeah, put my little name on it. My little name. So I've got a basket of socks actually. It's just the way it's ended up going. Look at all the warm woolly goodies. And I haven't worn these socks. I kind of tried them on, or perhaps popped them on when they were finished, or popped them on to take a photo, and then they've sat in this basket and they've not been worn the whole year, which is a bit crazy, to be honest. And it wasn't really deliberate choice or anything, it's just the kind of way it went. So yeah, so now that I have finished, this will kind of be my official finishing of the box. And I've got everything on the Box of Socks thread. And now I can take them down to the house and I can wear them because I really need them now as well. Right, I'm just taking some out so we can go back to the beginning. Sock blockers might be a plan. Uno momento. Okay, just had to pop and get some sock blockers. So my first pair of socks, these were my painting in January socks, because I made them in January. Surprise, surprise. And the sock pattern is called, I think it's just called Painting. It's a Rachel Coopy pattern. Actually, I must have worn these at least once because they've got a bit of heel wear. This is going to be a test, isn't it? See if I remember everything. Right, here we go. So this is my Painting in January socks. Now this is an uncommon thread yarn. Well remembered. Can't remember the colourway though. But I'll pop all the links to my Ravelry pages on the show notes, so if you're desperately wanting to know something. Now this one, I love this. Love this. All this down here, very clever. But the heel, it's an afterthought heel, and it fits fine, looks great on the foot, but it don't look so great on a sock blocker. But it has got this lovely sort of don't know if you can see the pattern of it as the decreases. You kind of put it round and then decrease. So it's a really different heel, which was really nice, but it just doesn't look that great on the sock blocker. But it fits good, that's the main thing. And this sort of cabling all comes out, that's very good. It's very intricate, you know. Rachel's patterns are very intricate and beautiful and quite amazing. I got a book of hers actually, I got this out of the book. I think it was her Coop Knit Sock 1. Is that right? But yeah, I must knit more out of there because I got it a while ago, and this is the second pair I've made out of it so far. So next up, these have actually blocked in position reasonably well. Fairly, is the Skedaddle by, can't remember her last name, Lena from A Wee Bit Knitty. And the yarn is Wool Barn. It was one of her sock blanks, the ones with the hearts printed on. Ever so pretty. Love this sock so much. It was gorgeous to knit. It's got a lovely whirlwind, is it whirlwind toe? Or no, just rounded toe. Love the toe. It's got a square heel, which I hadn't done before as well. Love that too. I need to knit these socks again actually, because these were just joyful to knit. And they came out beautifully. I'm just going to show you the back because it's got a little cable detail along the back. So that's those ones. So that's February, Skedaddle in February. Then we had, I'm not quite sure, in March, I think I made these ones in March, which are my first socks. So that's my pattern, my first socks. Yeah, so this was when I was coming up with the pattern. Oh, I love these, can't wait to wear these actually. I just mean because of the yarn, not trying to be, you know, because it's my pattern. But yeah, so this is the My Socks First Socks pattern. That's my kind of pattern for beginners, sort of. So I go into a bit more detail than you might normally expect to get on the sock pattern, just to try and make everything a bit clearer if you're trying to make one for the first time. So everything's sort of fairly standard. Heel flap and gusset, sort of a standard toe. This one I actually kitchenered, but I changed it for the pattern so that you didn't have to do that. And yeah, it's just got a little pattern on there. And the yarn is, this is a Kate Celine yarn as well. I can't remember what it's called. Something to do with rainbows, because it's rainbowy. Might be Rainbow Sprinkles. I don't know. Show notes. Show notes for those inquiring minds that want to know. But yeah, you Can't actually pick up all the, let's come a bit closer so you can just see all those absolutely gorgeous colours in it. Lovely. So those are my first socks in March. And then these are my extra pair because I've got 12 pairs already, but I am going to make another pair. This is my first socks. So I wanted to check everything through, and I also wanted to make it up in a less variegated yarn so I could see. So there it is again in the plainer yarn, and this is wool barn yarn. I'm not sure of the name, I don't know if it's just blue speckles. Oh, it's gorgeous, love wool barn yarn so much. So you can see the sort of pattern a bit better in that one. So that's pair number 4. We're on pair number 5. These are good. These are my officially my April ones. Pair number 5. Said that. Oh, I'm not going to remember the name, but these are gorgeous. Oh, what are they called? Something to do with honey. Wildflowers and honey? Is that right? Man, I wish I'd looked. I should have looked before I did this. This is another wool barn yarn, actually. A yellow sprinkly one. Not much to say about it when you can't remember the pattern, is there? But it's just gorgeous. I must knit this again, actually. It's such a cute little lace pattern. And look at this heel. It's heel, flap and gusset, but the way the slip stitches and everything are worked on the heel is just gorgeous. I think it was Wildflowers and Honey. So that was that's what I'm calling my April pair. Now, what did I do next? This is interesting. Okay, so next up is a test knit that I did for someone on Ravelry, and these are my Pixies in May, I called these. Oh, I think these are one of my favourite pairs I've knit all year, actually. Love the yarn, which is Yarn Tan Tethery yarn. Something to do about pixies, hence the name. Pixie Garden, Pixie Dust. And yeah, just came out beautiful. I think the sock pattern is called, look at the ribbon, sorry, distracted. Look at that, how gorgeous is that? Yeah, it's called 2 Block Socks, but it's a little bit more unusual because instead of, well, she has got all the pattern details written out, but she's come out with a block system so that you can arrange the pattern differently and come up with your own sort of combinations for these blocks of stitch patterns. So I went for one combination, and there's another combination included in the pattern, but then you could then come up with your own as well. So it's quite a different idea, quite interesting. But it looks really intricate, but actually it's one of those ones where at first you think, no, don't like it, don't want to do this. But a couple of rows in, you've got the knack of how to make these little sort of twisted bits. And it's super easy. Yeah, I love how these turned out. Yummy, yummy. So those were my Pixies in May. So I started off well, remembering everything, and then it went. Right, I'm just referring, I've opened up on the computer so I can see. Now these ones were my, well, I think of them as refreshers, but that's not what they're called. They were called, it's a, oh, it's gone, Violets by, it's a Nora George yarn by Tracy, Nora George, and it's called the Violets colourway. And look at that sweet pattern, isn't that so cute? Now these came up a bit big and I'm not quite sure why. This was one of those ones where I had a bit of a gauge incident, ripped back, still didn't manage to get it right, so they are still a bit big for me. but I love them nonetheless. They are gorgeous. Okay, so the pattern for that one is the Fine and Dandy Socks. So that's there. Then we have got these ones. Not even sure where we are in the calendar now. These are my cocktail hour socks. Oh, cocktail party. Oh, that was it, because I got my party bag from So Sweet Violet and I put them in there. And I knit my cocktail hour yarns. That was the colourway, cocktail hour, and it's from Easy Knits, this yarn. And it's just a plain vanilla sock. Fish Lips Kiss heel. Just a standard toe, rounded toe with Kitchener. My usual 2x2 ribs that I love. So yeah, happy with that. Although that was when I discovered actually I don't really like vanilla socks that much. They are just a little bit too boring. I thought it would be good just knitting around, but I like just a little something, just to mark off, you know. A little pattern repeat to mark the rows going by helps, I find. Then I knit... What did I knit next? Yeah, these ones. Sorry, keep looking around. My Tulsi socks. I remember knitting these on holiday. So these are August. Oops. So that's these ones with this lovely stitch pattern. Very pretty. So that's the Tulsi socks. This pink yarn is by Debonair Yarns that I got at Fibre East this year. And then this contrast colour yarn and the grey on the other ones. It'll come to me. Oh yeah, Signet yarns. Just some plain 50-gram balls that I picked up from a yarn shop somewhere. So that's pair number 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Pair number 9, but I called these August because my second pair of my first socks I didn't sort of include, even though I have knit them this year, so they still count. I know, I have to make life so complicated, don't I? Okay. Pair number 10 is my head over heel socks that I knit in my Stylecraft head over heels yarn. And I did Fish Lips Kiss heel for that. Everything's sort of the same more or less. I only sort of tweak things a bit. Still loving my 2x2 rib. Still loving my standard rounded toe. And this pattern was just one that I just popped in there. Just because, oh, excuse me, got big hair. Hairy yarn. Yeah, just to sort of, so it wasn't vanilla really. But I kind of wanted something simple because I wanted the colours to show through, which came out really pretty. Yeah. So that's those ones. That's my head over heels socks. Then I've got my bubblegum waffles. This is another Fibre East yarn actually from this year. Doing quite well at using up this year's Fibre East things. It's the blueberry waffle socks, and this was a sock blank from Truly Hooked. Again, or well, it's just the blueberry waffle pattern, but I did a standard heel flap, standard rounded toe, 2x2 ribs. Ribbing. And this one, the second sock came out quite differently as well. Look, it's much more yellow. So I think I prefer the yellow one actually. It's a bit too much pooling for my comfort, to be absolutely honest with you on these ones. I love the colours, I love the sock blank, but when it came out, I'm not a huge pooling fan, I'm afraid. Pooling. So, you know. And then last of all, last one to show, pair number 12. Some more blueberry waffles, but this time in my blueberry pancake yarn. And I showed you this last week. Oh, so squishy. Love these ones. Might pop these on in a minute. Because my feet are still a bit cool up here. Need a pair of slippers for up here. So that is pair number 12, but I'm calling these my blueberry pancakes in November because my Advent knit along socks I'm doing with Sam will be my December pair. So there you go, there's my whole box of socks for you. I didn't think I could do 12 pair of socks. 12 pair. I didn't think I could make 12 pairs of socks in 1 year. That was kind of my challenge. I'd kind of set myself that challenge at the beginning of the year. I thought 1 a month might be achievable, and then Kristen started her knit along, and that kind of fit in perfectly, really. I didn't think I needed the extra motivation. I was quite happy. Knitting a pair of socks a month was about right, really. I don't quite want to have a pair on the needles all the time, but if I go much longer, you know, than a month, I kind of am hankering to cast a pair on. So yeah, so it works out about right for me. So I'm aiming, so it'll probably be 13 pairs for the year then, and I shall also do Little Bobbin's Christmas Eve cast on, but I don't suppose I'll finish those this year, so they won't count. But yeah, very pleased with that. And now I can take 12 pairs of socks in and wear them. Yay! Yay for warm socks. Right, moving on. This is getting long, people. Sorry about that. Pips. Patterns in progress. So, just a little update on this one, the Getting Ziggy shawl that I have been speaking about on the podcast. That is now out. Yay! Came out on Tuesday, and yeah, is available for purchase, should you wish to do so. I need to take a picture of it. Someone said to me on Instagram, have you got a picture of it all laid out so I can actually see the shape of it? And I thought, no, I haven't. Excellent point. So here it is for you. So 2 straight edges. The top edge is nice and straight, and that side's nice and straight, and it works its way down to all these glorious zigzags at the bottom, so that when you wear it, you've sort of got a, I don't know. I just liked that it was off to one side, so it kind of had the feature of it one side, so you could see all the zigzaggies, but I really wanted clean lines for the rest of it. So yeah, so that one is, I've put it up as an advanced pattern because, as I explained before, it's got quite a few sort of techniques in there. You know, it's not beginner friendly, but what I've done is, I think it's an advanced pattern, but I've included lots of photo tutorials and tried to explain everything as clearly as possible, and so that hopefully if you're an intermediate crocheter, you'll be able to have a good old go at that. And my testers seem to sort of agree with that yes, you know, it's sort of a bit of a challenge, but there is lots of good information in the pattern, so hopefully it won't be sort of too, what's the word, you know, hopefully it won't exclude too many people. It's, you know, it's obviously not going to be good for beginners or anything, but yeah, you know, if you like a little bit of challenge, don't mind sort of having a bit of a think, then yeah, hopefully you won't mind having a go. So that's that one. So now I've moved on to, I was going to work on this next, but I need to pick out some new yarns to make another version, and I'm not feeling it. Nothing's calling to me. Nothing's saying it needs to be another one of these, so I'm struggling with that one a bit at the moment. So what I've decided to work on instead is my Granny Keeps Warm set that I made last year. So it's Cal and Mitts. I love it. I love it so much. I'm so glad to get this out again. I actually had this squirreled away for a bit, because I'd put it aside to work up into a pattern when it got cooler again. Oh, I've missed these colours so much. Oh, I have. I love it. And the little mitts that go with. Just my little, you know me and mitts. It's a love affair. And yes, they're just little sort of cuff ones. But they're just perfect to sort of slip on under my jacket. I just love these colours. It's Debbie Bliss Baby Cashmerino that I've used. So these are complete opposite of the Getting Ziggy. These should be a really good, nice, easy pattern. Should be good for beginners, you know, once you've got the hang of the basics and everything, you know. These ones particularly because there's no increasing or decreasing, it's all simple, so they are definitely easy. And then sort of once you've done that, these are kind of the next stage up, because obviously I've got some shaping in. See, I like cows, but I always find you put them on and then this bit kind of flaps down. And that's fine if you want to do the sort of scarf thing and wrap them over. But I was sitting in my house, this is how this came about. I was sitting in my house and it was cold draft and it was sort of right up by my ears, and I was sort of getting my shawl round, but it was up here I was cold. And I wanted something that sort of tucked right up snugly and would stay up there. So I made this and I had the shaping, and it does, it just, pop it on. Let's pop it on so you can see. This could be embarrassing. Well, we're all friends here. Yes. Oh, there we go. Oh, that's so good. There we are. So you can have it, you know, you can squish it down out the way if you want to, but if you sort of bring it up, you can sort of kind of hide your face in it and be nice and super warm. So yeah, so that's what I like about it. So that's hence the shaping. So you could just make it straight up if you wanted to, if you didn't want to bother with that and you wanted the more, you know, floppy style. That would be fine, you can do that too. And so this is, I'm calling it Granny Keep Warm, because it's just lovely, lovely granny stitches. And this one is going to be, I don't know whether it's going to be Cottage Garden or Vintage Garden or something, like that colourway. And then I've got another colourway, which I think I'm going to call Home Fire colourway, Home Fires or something like that. Maybe Granny's Garden and Granny's Fireplace, I don't know. So that's my mitt with lots of horrendous ends. Yeah, that I haven't put in yet. But I haven't thread in yet. Oh my word. Why is talking so difficult? Yeah, so that's that, and I've started second cow, which is here. Yeah, so that's coming along quite nicely, quite smoothly, so hopefully I'll be able to get that out in the new year at some point. And that's it. And that's it. I feel I'm doing quite well with patterns lately, because for a long time, last couple of years, I felt like, I don't know, I had lots of things I'd made and I'd intended to make patterns out of and not got round to it. And if you've sort of followed it on here or on the blog, you know I'm always saying, yeah, a year ago I made this and now I'm finally getting around to doing the pattern. It's felt like that all the time lately, but I think I'm sort of catching up a bit. I've only got a couple now that I've really sort of had in my mind that I'd meant to do. Well, 3 with this one. So yeah, so I may or may not do those 3, and then I'd feel like I was more able to work on ideas that I have now, which would be good, because sometimes it feels like you have loads of you have lots of new ideas, and that's all very well, but you haven't finished with the old stuff you're supposed to be doing, and it, I don't know, gets you down a bit, doesn't it, when you feel like you're getting nowhere. Anyway, that's aside. That's by the by. Let's move on to incoming goodies. So, okay, so I have been on Molly's site again, Homespun House. And I've been ordering these cute, adorable stitch markers. So I've got the little birdie, look, with little eggs in the nest. Oh, just so precious. And then some acorns. I was thinking I didn't have anything sort of autumnal, you see, because I've not really been all about the autumnal, but this year I'm really feeling it. The last couple of years it's been growing on me, and now I'm really loving it this year. And then look, a little tree, which I thought was just a little fir tree, but I wanted it to pass as a Christmas tree, but you won't see on here, you won't get the detail, but I think it is a Christmas tree because it's got a little star on top and it's got little blobs on its branches. So I'm counting it, oh, keep still, I'm counting it as a Christmas tree. So cute. That can go on my Advent Cow socks. And I also got a skein of yarn while I was there. This is her bookworm colourway. And it's on a plump BFL. Finger and weight yarn, so it's 80% superwash BFL and 20% nylon. Again, gorgeous. Love, 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 love Molly's yarns so much. She's so clever. I need to stop following her on Instagram. Every time she posts, oh, I've done a new colourway, I'm like, I love it. I've done another colourway, oh, I love that too. It's dangerous. It's a dangerous place to be. Talking of the dangers of Instagram, this was Instagram's fault as well. Danny from Little Bobbins showed a gorgeous picture of a lovely project bag. Oh, just so pretty. It's doing funny, ooh, the light's doing funny things. Try and keep still. Oh, it's just gorgeous. It's like a watercolour painting, but it's been printed onto fabric. And it's by Bird Street UK, that's an Etsy shop. birdstreetuk.etsy.com. And I just love it. But look at the size of it as well, it's huge. And I've just been thinking, I'm really loving my project bags now, but I could do with a bigger size. And along came this, and it was available in a nice big size. So this is what I'm keeping my Granny Keep Warm project in. But I've got like loads of balls in there. And obviously I had all the this and my new one all fitted in here, so really lovely. And look, the inside, can you see it's metallic? It's got metallic little zigzags. Exciting. And it's also nice, it's one of those ones that sits open, so the zip is sort of like doesn't join at the end, so that when you stitch it, it sits like this, nice and open. So in love with it. So in love with it, and you can see it stands up beautifully. It's my new favourite thing. And I was also thinking that although it is quite Christmassy because it's got holly on it, it's sort of not overtly Christmassy. So really it's just wintry. So really I could use it much more of the year than just Christmas, so it's totally justified to get it. And it's got this, sorry, I wanted to just show you this as well. It's got this cute little tassel, and look, it's even got included this lovely little holly. Oh, so love that. Love it. Yeah, so I've got a Christmas tree and I've got a holly. This isn't technically a stitch marker, but I could make it into one. Or I might just leave it on there. Very happy with those incoming goodies. Very happy with those. Right. I think that might be it. I think it's enough, isn't it? It's enough to be going along with. Because it's probably got long. One feels. It's probably got long, and I think there's a lot of editing in this episode. So I best get on with it. Okay, so it was lovely to talk to you, and I want to get another episode in before Christmas, which sounds very reasonable and doable. But the schools break up early this year, and I won't podcast next week. I'll do blog posts next week, but the week after that I'll podcast, and then that's pretty much it, because then the schools will be off, and then it'll be Christmas, and It's shocking. I know it's not even December officially yet. I mean, it might be by the time this is up, but yeah, it's going quick. So yes, anyway, I'm hoping to come back with another podcast, and I'm hoping to do like a little Christmas special, and I'll go down to the house and do it in the house with maybe the Christmas tree or something. That would be cosy, wouldn't it, and lovely? Yeah. So I shall hope to see you then, if we don't speak in blogland before that. So I hope you enjoyed it, and I hope you managed to stay through to the end. And if you're new, and if you don't already, and if you'd like to subscribe, that would be marvellous. Thank you. And yeah, that's it really. I'll see you next time. Okay, bye.